The regular meeting of Osoyoos Town Council in Council Chambers on Monday, October the 16th, 2017, 2 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order, and first up is the adoption of some minutes. The regular open minutes of October the 2nd, the special open minutes of October the 2nd, the public hearing minutes of October the 2nd, and the special open minutes of October the 6th. And all of those would be up for adoption. Could we have a motion, please? Thank you, Councillor Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Youngberg, that we adopt all of those. All in favor? Thank you. And business arising from prior minutes. There is nothing in that one. So we need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What is the late item?
Councillor Campbell's expense report.
Well, he was too late getting that.
That's an important issue.
Councillor Campbell's report. Okay. All right, so could we have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended? Thank you very much. We're not letting you do this. Councillor King, Councillor Rhodes. All in favor? Thank you. Yes, you want to do it now?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Emenko has something he'd like to include.
Okay, I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Brianne Hilson on the completion of her local government administration certificate from Camusun College. This certificate is one of two major steps in the completion of local government corporate services training. Brianne is now in the process of working on her second certificate. This certificate is an illustration of Brianne's dedication, commitment, and her ability to multitask. This certificate was completed while she was carrying on a very heavy volunteer role in the local minor hockey program. The town has enthusiastically supported Brianne in her efforts. However, she was the recipient of scholarship grants from the Local Government Administrators Association that assisted in funding of this endeavor. So congratulations to you, Brianne.
Well done. Well done, Brianne, and we understand that Brianne is now working on the next level, and so we look forward to presenting that to you when you've got that finished. Brianne also not only does minor hockey, but I think she does Girl Guides. She's got 3 kids. She's got dogs and raises puppies, and so she seems to be very busy all the time, so well done. Okay, next on the agenda is, we've done everything there? We're okay? Water matters. And what we'd like to do is to report on expenditures from accounts payable for water councillors and council approval for water districts 8 and 9. And so the options are in the amount of $95,096.80, and it would be to approve water district cash requirements in the amount of $95,096.80 or not to approve. And recommendation is option 1. So Councillor Marrera, Councillor Ray, all in favor. Thank you very much. And next is the Okanagan Basin, some correspondence. The Water Board meeting of October, I believe it's October 2017. I normally go to these meetings, but my alternate, Mark Pendergraft, attended this meeting. So in looking through what's written down there, one of the things that I want to point out to everyone is a meeting tomorrow, which is the Osoyoos Lake Board of Control. The International Board of Control is holding their annual meeting tomorrow, and it will be on October the 17th. That's tomorrow at the Sonora Center. It is from 6 until 8:15. At that time, there will be a special screening of the River film. And I'm reading from on here. It's a documentary about the transboundary challenges of managing Lake Osoyoos and the uses and needs of residents and ecosystems along the lake and the Okanagan River. There's also a screening next week, and it will be at the Oliver Theatre. So it's next Wednesday, I believe, October the 25th, if anybody would prefer to go and see it there. It's about 40 minutes long. I definitely know that the Osoyoos Lake water quality people will be attending this. It's a very interesting film, and it goes from the dam at the south end of Okanagan Lake down to the Zozel Dam, and it looks at fisheries and various climates and water management throughout the year. I highly recommend that you have a look at it either tomorrow night or next Wednesday at the Oliver Theatre, where you'd see it on a huge screen. So we continue at the Okanagan Basin Water Board to deal with zebra quagga. It seems to take up a huge amount of time, and I know that James Litley, who is in charge of this, is going to talk to the government about this to make sure that people know once we let the little devils in the system, they're here and we're stuck with them. So we're trying everything possible to make sure that zebra quagga mussels are not allowed over the border in British Columbia. Okay? So is there anything? Yes, Councillor Rhodes.
No, I'm just going to move to it.
You want to move that we have this received? Thank you very much. Councillor King, that we receive this correspondence. Thank you. All in favor. Next is the Community Energy Association, and there's a Climate Leadership Institute, which is in November 1st to 3rd in Richmond this year, and we were invited to go to that. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go to that. I'm wondering, are you going to that, Ms. Van Vienen? No. Okay. And it's an awkward time because there's several other things on at that time. So could we have a motion, please, that this be received and filed? Thank you. Councillor Campbell, Councillor King. All in favor? Thank you. Next is the permissive tax exemption bylaw. Mrs. Youngberg, Councillor Youngberg, you're going to recuse yourself. Thank you. So this will be Mr. Zackel, which I'm assuming means Mr. Remenko. No? Ms. Van Vienen. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council gave 3 readings to permissive tax exemption bylaw number 1334, 2017 on October 2nd, 2017. It has come to staff's attention that there may have been an error in process with regard to this bylaw. Therefore, to ensure that the bylaw process is not flawed, the new permissive tax exemption bylaw number 1335 is being brought forward for 3 readings, and Council is being asked to abandon bylaw number 1334. Each year, Council updates their permissive tax exemption bylaw, which is to be adopted no later than October 31st each year. This tax exemption bylaw would take effect for the 2018 tax year. Advertising of the estimated permissive tax exemptions will be done the weeks of October 18th and 25th. Implications for the community: continuation of providing permissive tax exemptions by updating and renewing the permissive tax exemption bylaw. No organizational changes, no budget changes. Significant dates: the bylaw must be adopted no later than October 31st, 2017, as per Section 224 of the Community Charter. Sustainability allows nonprofit organizations and places of public worship to continue to provide services to the town of Osoyoos community. Options: 1, that permissive tax exemption bylaw number 1334, 2017 be abandoned. 2, that permissive tax exemption bylaw number 1335, 2017 be read a first, second, and third time. 3, that a special open meeting be held on Thursday, October 26, 2017 at 9 a.m. to consider final adoption of Bylaw number 1335. 4, that permissive tax exemption Bylaw number 1334, 2017 be adopted. Or 5, that permissive tax exemption Bylaw number 1335, 2017 be returned to staff for changes. Staff recommend options 1, 2, and 3 because advertising of the permissive tax exemption bylaw is required in 2 consecutive issues of the newspaper in accordance with Section 225 of the Community Charter, and since it is required that tax exemption bylaws be adopted prior to October 31st each year, a special open meeting should be scheduled directly after the second advertising has taken place.
Thank you very much. So we're going to deal with these in options separately. So, Councillor Campbell?
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. I think we've discussed the matter 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure it requires much more discussion. You want these as 3 separate motions?
Yes.
Okay. I'll move that permissive tax exemption bylaw number 1334, 2017 be abandoned.
Thank you.
Second that.
All in favor? Thank you. And Councillor King, would you like to?
Yeah, option number 2, the premises tax exemption bylaw number 1335 217 be read first, second, and third time.
Thank you. Seconded. All in favor? Thank you. Would you like to do the third one?
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. I'll move option number 3, exactly the way it's worded in the agenda.
Thank you. Seconded. Councillor Campbell. All in favor? Thank you very much. So, thank you. Just wait for... Okay, next on the list is 3 mayor and council meeting reports. Expenditures. There's one for me, one for Councillor King, and one for Councillor Campbell. Councillor Rhodes, would you like to move the adoption of those, seeing as you're not one of those?
Do you want separate motions for each one, or no?
Okay.
I'll move that we accept the reports as presented.
Thank you. Councillor Youngberg seconded that. All in favor? Thank you very much. Next is the 8701 Main Street lease to Desert Sun Counselling, and we have a new report. Ms. Van Vienen.
Thank you. At the regular open meeting of October 2nd, 2017, Council agreed to lease a portion of the property located at 8701 Main Street to Desert Sun Counselling and Resource Centre. The attached lease is year to year for a total of 3 years. There is a termination clause of 90 days notice for either party. Subletting will not be allowed by Desert Sun. However, the town may rent the remaining 3 offices subject to the approval of Desert Sun. The lease requires Desert Sun to obtain $2 million liability insurance, and they must insure their contents. They will be responsible for the janitorial costs for the building and must pay natural gas and electrical fees for the portion of the building they will be occupying. The lease fee is $800 per month. The town will be responsible for insurance on the building, maintaining the plumbing, HVAC, and electrical and snow removal. The town uses the rear portion of the building for record storage. Under implications, community use of a town building by a not-for-profit service group which provides a valuable service to the community. Organizationally, monitoring of the lease. Budget, $800 lease fees per month. Significant dates, the lease will begin January 1st, 2018, and sustainability, continued use of a town building. Options, 1, that council approve the lease of the portion of 8701 Main Street to Desert Sun Counselling and Resource Centre, and that the signatories be authorized to sign the lease. 2, that council not approve the lease of a portion of 8701 Main Street to Desert Sun Counselling and Resource Centre. Or 3, that the lease be referred back to staff for changes. Staff recommend option 1. The required advertising will be completed before the lease document is signed.
Thank you very much. Anybody like to move this? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, you moving?
Option number 1.
Thank you. Are you seconding that? Is there anybody that needs to speak to it? I was just checking that it would be the acceptance and the required advertising before we sign anything. Is that correct? Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Sierra Remenko, is the $2 million liability in line with any other dealings we have with lessees?
Yes, that's our minimum for that type of operation.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of option 1? Thank you very much. That's carried. Next, it's the Okanagan Regional Library. Is that you, Mr.
Yes.
Remenko? Thank you.
The lease between the Town of Osoyoos and the Okanagan Regional Library is set to expire December 31st, 2017. The Okanagan Regional Library has requested this lease be extended to December 31st, 2020. The Okanagan Regional Library has a policy with respect to leasing facilities in municipalities. An independent assessor provides the current rental rate for a 3-year period. The recommended rate has increased from $6 a square foot to $7 a square foot in this current assessment. However, the Okanagan Regional Library has recommended that the rate remain the same at $9.40 per square foot, which is the current lease rate with the library. In addition, the library pays $6 per square foot for their share of the utility and maintenance costs. There has also been one additional clause added to the agreement that states all other terms and conditions of the lease will remain the same, with the exception of an added clause which allows the Okanagan Regional Library or the Town of Osoyoos with 1 year's written notice to reduce the space being rented or discontinue the lease. The total amount of payable at $15.40 per square foot, and based on 3,380 square feet, this equates to $52,052 annually. Terms of implications, community, to ensure that a public library remains in the Town of Osoyoos. No organizational changes. Budget revenues would be secured to 2020. No increase in current revenues. The signed lease extension is to be returned to the Okanagan Regional Library by October 31st. If Council disagrees with the proposed rate, Okanagan Library needs to be notified no later than October 20th, and the town will have to hire and pay for their own qualified appraiser at the town's cost. The report would be due to the Okanagan Library by November 1st, in which the board will review and make their decision by November 15th. Sustainability, continuation of the regional library services in the Town of Osoyoos. In terms of options, 4 options are presented for Council. 1, for Council to authorize the Mayor and Corporate Officer to sign the lease extension with the Okanagan Regional Library as attached. 2, for Council to authorize Mayor and Corporate Officer to sign lease extension keeping all terms and conditions the same as the current lease. 3, to hire a qualified appraiser at the town's cost to reassess the leased area for the library and submit the findings for consideration to the Okanagan Regional Library. And 4, to not agree to sign the lease renewal. And option number 1 is recommended. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And having been on the ORL for a 3-year period, I understand what how confusing this can be at sometimes. But I just want to thank Councillor Youngberg for taking this back to the board at her last library meeting, and for really speaking to the continuation of having the library in Osoyoos at the rate that was agreed on. So thank you. Is there anybody who would like to make a motion on this? Thank you, Councillor Youngberg.
Number 1, Council to authorize the Mayor and Corporate Officer to sign the lease extension with Okanagan Regional Library as attached.
Thank you. You seconding it? Councillor Campbell. Anything else? All in favor? Thank you very much. Before we start on the next issue, there are some seats up here. If anybody would like to, Mr. Dinwiddie, we have a seat up here for you if you like. So you're certainly welcome to sit down, any of you. So please do if you like. Okay, the next, our next issue, which is why I'm assuming most of you are here, is our dog park baseball diamond, and I'm sure all of council would like to. Yes.
Against my better judgment, I hereby recuse myself from this matter.
Thank you very much. We are going to let Mr. Davis speak to this, and I'm sure council will have something to say after. Mr. Davis, thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Staff was directed by Council to bring more detailed information regarding the possible relocation of the dog park and the development of a baseball diamond. The following motion was passed: that Council directs staff to bring the dog park baseball diamond options to the budget discussions for cost and design potential for 2 ball diamonds in Desert Park infield, which would be sized for minor ball and slow pitch use and include shale fields, pitching mounds, and fencing. And that the staff be directed to bring the costs to convert the dog park back into a minor baseball diamond and develop a dog park at Kinsman Park that is compatible with the current playground area to the budget discussions. And that staff be directed to identify the development of future baseball diamonds at the test orchard by Osoyoos Secondary School to be included in the town business plan for a 5-year capital budget. And that this information be brought to Council for review at October 16th meeting. At the September 18th meeting of Council, staff presented options for the dog park and baseball diamond development with the expectation to move forward with capital budget considerations. Council was preparing to make a decision to move forward in order to accommodate the development of a baseball diamond in the spring of 2018. In order to move forward, staff was directed to bring these options forward with detailed budget numbers and planning. The options presented were challenging and both have a number of pros and cons. Moving the dog park to Kinsman Park and converting existing dog park back to a baseball diamond includes installing a fence at Kinsman, install more dog bag dispensers, install seating, install more garbage receptacles, provide a water source, and update signage. Alternatively, the dog park would have to be dismantled. This includes removing the gazebo, skinning the infield and installing shale, including a pitching mound, covering the existing dugouts or creating newer ones. Some fencing may be needed to be repaired or added in the outfield to accommodate the peewee or bantam regulation size field. The other option would be to convert an existing slow pitch diamond at Desert Park into a baseball diamond. Diamond D was preferred as it does not overlap with other existing fields. Upgrading this diamond would include skinning the infield and installing shale, including a pitcher's mound, fencing the perimeter of the diamond to accommodate baseball and slow pitch use, and installing dugouts. The largest cost for each of these applications would be the shale and the fencing. We have received drawings from True Engineering that shows Diamond D can be used without compromising other fields or other users. Only one field can be accommodated, and it would affect where one of the soccer fields are currently located. We can, however, put another soccer field on the north side closer to the barn area. Since we have a stable base for both applications, we would only need 2 inches of shale. I have received a quote from a shale supplier in Kamloops, and they are recommending approximately 200 cubic yards. The cost of the shale delivered in Osoyoos is $17,000. The cost to fence a diamond at Desert Park is $15,000 to $20,000, depending on quality and size of fencing. This includes fencing around the perimeter, the dugouts, and gates. These are 2 options that have been suggested by both groups. There may be another option that could accommodate both groups and have less of an impact. At the last meeting of Council, another option was briefly discussed: the shared use of the dog park and baseball diamond. If this was the chosen option, it could be used as a baseball diamond during the summer months, June, July, and August, and the outside area of the park can be used by dog owners as an off-leash dog park. The area could be fenced and a new gazebo could be installed. In this area, we have the old BMX track that is no longer in use and is overgrown. This area can be leveled and also included as part of the dog park. We can also install a fence at Kinsman as well, so we have more than one dog park in town. We have seen smaller dogs frequent Kinsman Park on a regular basis. Some of the issues that deterred sharing a park was the maintenance of the fields, the safety between users, the cooperation of the users, and bylaw enforcement. If we developed Kinsman and also included the BMX track as part of a new dog park, it would be a more feasible option. It may take a year to incorporate the BMX track and make the outside area at West Bench into an off-leash dog park. During this time, the field can be shared with both groups until the outside area is converted into a dog park. At the same time, we can make improvements to Kinsman and have it ready to go in the spring of 2018. More detailed information will have to be collected to get a better idea of how this area can be converted. This will also provide another area to utilize effluent water. In terms of implications for the community, Meeting the needs of the community user groups who support these activities are crucial. Making a decision to do something new or keep everything the same is not always an easy decision. Increasing the recreational opportunities for all groups is the best alternative. Organizationally, planning, maintenance, and development of these facilities. Budget, depending on what happens, $20,000 to $40,000. Significant dates. We have OMBA has indicated that they would like something approved as soon as possible. If they're going to have a field in place for the 2018 season, plans would need to start right away. And sustainability. Take an approach to develop recreational facilities requested by local groups will help the town achieve greater sustainability if the best use for these facilities are optimized. In terms of option number 1, for council to reconfigure the existing dog park back into a shale infield baseball diamond as a single-purpose ball facility. Install fencing at Kinsman to have a second off-leash dog park. Reconfigure the old BMX track area outside the West Bench ball diamonds into a new dog park and have dog owners use the area around the ball diamonds as a dog park until the BMX is repurposed into an off-leash area. Option number 2, for council to move forward with developing a shale infield baseball field at Desert Park, making sure that the field can still be used for slow pitch and retaining the West Bench dog park. Option 3, for council to change the dog park back into a shale infield baseball diamond and develop Kinsman Park into a dog park. Option 4, for council to direct staff to develop a baseball diamond at the West Bench dog park, have dog owners utilize the outer green space during the baseball season, and when baseball season is over, reutilize the field as a dog park, thus creating a shared facility. Fence the outer green space at the West Bench dog diamond and develop a dog park on its own. Option 6, retain the West Bench dog park, install fencing at Kinsman Park to create a second off-leash dog park, and build a ball diamond on Desert Park infield. Or option 7, for council to do nothing at this time. And staff is recommending option number 1. In making this recommendation, the administration has taken into account the following considerations. The community's long-term vision is to make the community more family-friendly in an effort to attract and retain families. The community is supportive of dog users and its supply of public dog beaches, and is supportive in its goal of continuing to provide an off-leash area facility that meets the needs of dog owners. The use of the Oliver Diamonds runs counter to number 1 above, plus places the community at an economic disadvantage. Residents that travel out of town tend to spend money out of town. The West Bench facility was built as a ball diamond, therefore it is less costly to complete the retrofit to shale diamonds. The West Bench infrastructure is overbuilt for a dog park and naturally fits the function of a ball diamond. The existence of 2 diamonds side by side facilitates the site as a tournament site, which again assists in the community's economic development. The dual use of dog park and a baseball diamond has the potential to be an enforcement issue, as dog users will continue to gravitate to the field in the off-use period. Also, the ball field use would cause the facility to lose some of its current and future dog user amenities. If there's going to be a shared use, it should be considered for a short period of time as an interim step. The area around the ball diamond and the West Bench is currently used by many dog owners and can continue to be used in the future. No additional fencing is contemplated due to operational issues relating to grass cutting. Dog owners that have well-trained dogs can continue to walk and socialize their dogs in the area surrounding the West Bench. Therefore, residents in that area will continue to have a dog facility. The BMX area next to the West Bench facility is currently a wasteland area of weeds and puncture vine. A future project to turn that area into a fenced-off leash area will assist in a number of ways, including elimination of a weed area, provision of a fairly good-sized off-leash area on the West Bench, additional grass area for recycling water. There may be an opportunity to move the fence on the existing ball diamond to make it more usable for older kids and slow pitch. Kinsman Park is now being used as a dog park area, as staff has witnessed many off-leash users. The area is equal to, if not larger than, the West Bench. The playground and activity area can easily be fenced off from the dog use area. This area can also facilitate the development of a small dog and large dog off-leash area, a service that has been requested by dog users. families have the opportunity to simultaneously bring their kids to the play area and their dog to the off-leash area. The soccer field is not being used for a soccer program, and we have had more soccer fields spread throughout the community. Dog users will benefit from the use of park washroom facilities. There is more potential in this area for immediate development of dog park facilities with less user competition. The argument that travel to and lack of parking are issues at Kinsman Park is not an argument that is wholeheartedly supported by administration. The test orchard site will not be available for any development at least for 4 years. The option of developing the old BMX area is more attractive. BMX doesn't appear to have a sport that will have a resurgence in the community. And building a ball diamond on the Desert Park infield creates limitations on the future use of the infield.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis. That was a very comprehensive report, and you've given us a lot of things to think about. Before I turn it over to Council to talk about this, I'd just like to say that this particular issue, the dog park and baseball diamonds, has been very contentious, as you probably know. I think that I have had more emails, phone calls, letters, etc., concerning this issue than I have for any other thing. So we do know that it is important to people. I just want to say that in terms of how Council deals with this, about 5 years ago, we had a small group come to us and say, we'd like you to consider putting in a dog park in Asuyas. It had not been something that we had done before, and over the last 5 years, we've done quite a lot. We recognize that was a need. We recognize that we need dog swimming areas, that it's a recreational area for dogs. It's had some upgrades over the past couple of years, and by all accounts, it's very well used. So this time, we now have been approached by another group who said, could you consider putting in some more baseball diamonds, and gave the reasons for use for our kids and for adults and for various age groups. And it just happened that it included using what the dog park, which used to be a baseball diamond. So, and it wasn't used for a while, and that was why it was put back into, reused as a dog park. So, Council is really, we're trying to look at what is the best use of all of our facilities in this town. How can we accommodate people with dogs, people with children, people who want to have swimming lessons on the beach? I mean, that's really our job, is to look at all of the issues and try and make sense of them all, try and accommodate them as well as we can, and in many cases we have to make compromises. And we know that we are not going to have every person who has a particular interest to be absolutely happy. We just hope that what we're doing and what we look at is making the best use of the facilities that we have in order to encourage people to move to this town, to enjoy the facilities, to encourage young people to be here. This is a resort municipality. And it's also, there are a lot of seniors here, and we've heard from a lot of seniors who really didn't agree with these ideas, but I think some of them who've had dogs are quite happy that we have a dog park. So we don't want to give up a dog park. As a matter of fact, the issue that's presented gives us 2 dog parks, one on each side of the bridge, which is probably, I'm sorry, there's no time at this time. Yeah, thank you. And so what we are trying to do is accommodate as many different groups as possible and try and look at this as carefully as we can. So I'm going to open this up and see if anyone from Council would like to speak on this issue. Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted clarity on the BMX track. If that was configured into a dog park, would that be done over the next 6 months and fenced in, like the dog park we have now in the Ball Diamond?
It would be similar, it would be started, not necessarily completed. But yeah, if we can do that, depending on our staffing needs, that's what we would do, yes.
So can you give me a rough idea of timeline? Because if you change it back to a ballpark, I don't think you'd have to bring the shell until spring to change it, so the dogs could still play there all winter while you're changing the BMX to fencing it in and flattening it.
Sure.
Is that one of the options that could actually be done if we find money somewhere?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Councillor Youngberg?
Yes, Director Davies. The BMX track, have we done any research on that to find out if there's any future use?
Yes, and there is none. There is absolutely none.
No
Yep.
collective group at this point?
That is correct. The person heading it up was Mr. McLean, and he has told me that there will be absolutely no issues with this moving forward for him.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Rhodes?
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. Well, our mayor very eloquently put the ideas and the opinions of almost everybody in our community right on the table, and we've all had a look at it. And it has been somewhat of a polarizing topic in our community over the last little while. However, when you talk about dog parks and repurposing the dog park into a minor baseball facility, does not mean, for myself personally, that we're picking one over the other or being insensitive to one group or another in any way, shape, or form.
Yes, you are.
Excuse
I
me,
beg your
sir,
pardon?
you may not speak. This is not allowed. You'll be asked to leave if you speak again.
Yeah, there's no purpose served in interrupting me right now. Yeah. When we move forward with this particular subject, we get to look at all different ideas and opinions from people in our community. I think this council has been very good in its transparency and how we deal with things. Overwhelmingly, myself personally, I've heard from people that would wish to keep that as a dog park right now. I'm going to say that probably 75 to 80 people have approached me personally, either through the emails that we've received at the town, personal emails, or personal contact over the last little while. However, that does not diminish the importance of minor baseball in our community. And the question is what are we going to do about it? And right now, I am leaning very much in favor of keeping the dog park where it is, except for one condition, and that would be repurposing the BMX track into a dog park. And I would be very supportive of doing that if we could get a interested group of dog owners that use the dog park on a regular basis to work with a representative of Councillor with our particular department that would be responsible for that, as kind of a coalition of people that would work towards redeveloping that particular area of our town right now. I do not feel comfortable just saying we're going to turn the old dog park into a baseball diamond, and at some point or another we're going to do the BMX track. I'd like to be very specific about starting in a brand new area and developing it into a facility that is as good as we have right now, or somewhat better if that opportunity comes up.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. Davis, and I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. Can the dog owners, if we decided to repurpose the present dog park into a baseball diamond, would they be able to use the present facility until such time as, for the winter is what I mean, until such time as it would be, and that was kind of what Mr. King asked, until such time as we need to start turning it into a baseball diamond, which can't be done right now. It would have to be done in the spring. And in the meantime, that we could start looking at the BMX track and getting it ready so it would be a smooth transition. Is that what I was hearing?
I would think that if we're going to move in that direction, we would probably have to do some stuff probably in March.
Okay.
To get that ready. We would have to, because we're dealing with dollars and cents when it comes to our purchasing policy, we may have to put something out for tender, RFP or whatever in terms of doing that. But we would definitely have, opportunity come March. And I see Mr. Dinwiddie is here, our Director of Operation. But I would assume that would be the case. And up until that time, it would definitely be used as a dog park. If we sit down and as Councillor Rose has said, if we're talking about doing some kind of committee or coalition to work in that realm, I think that's something that we could discuss for sure and have it as an exact specific date.
And
the
do
whole
it
9
sort of
yards.
now before we turn, yeah. And the other thing just wanted to check with you, and I'm not sure, and I believe that the baseball does not start in June, it starts earlier. And am I correct? Yes. It starts in April, is my understanding. So that may have something to do with when the RFP gets put out, because it may start earlier than we originally thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Manko.
Thank you. Again, I think that one of the ways to look at this is that if this is a council priority, to in fact redo that BMX area, it is something that we would take a look at immediately, and we'd have to get some costing very, very shortly. We'd have to basically, I think what we have to determine is how much fill, if any, do we need in there. How much of the existing landscape can we just landscape? And I think the other option that as we mentioned in a report, that's important, that if we're landscaping the area there, we wanted to make that, might have to move the fence back a bit to enable more multi-purpose use. So those are the things that we would like to do if it's a council priority. If we get the money in our budget process to move ahead, we will be able to. And again, the local contractors as well. It's the availability of contractors to carry out the work.
Thank you. So is there anybody who would like to make a motion? Councillor Rhodes.
Well, I'm certainly prepared to make that motion. I'm going to require a little assistance in the wordsmithing of it right now, but
Go ahead.
I think we have the essence that we would wish to repurpose the existing dog park to a minor baseball field, and also repurposing the BMX track to a dog facility.
So option one, is the wording in option
No,
one
not
here?
option one. It's
No,
gotta be
I don't
different.
think so.
Slightly different?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see it covered in any of the options.
Okay.
I think that has to be reworded, sorry, Madam Mayor.
Yes, go
I
ahead.
think we have to make it, it sounds like we want to make it a priority. Number one is to turn the BMX into a dog park. And I don't know if we have enough information or a cost, or we'll just move forward with that would be a question to find the money in the budget. I don't want to get a stomp all of a sudden we're going to talk here that we're turning it into a dog park, and then we come up and we don't have the money. So I'm just asking sort of where do we stand?
In terms of timing and that? Well, again, we'll get some costing. It's like this is the direction of council to turn this particular facility, the BMX, into a dog park. So we'll get some costing, and then we can take a look at where it sits on the priority list. We are meeting with council, I think, the first week in November.
The 9th.
Hopefully we could get something together relative to some costing, or having somebody take a look at the landscaping and at least get some initial costing. My sense is that it's not, it won't be that expensive. And I think on the upside, when we take a look at the dual purpose again, and when Director Davies and I talked about this, we're always looking for additional green space for our effluent, our recycled water. This is an extension to our recycled water program. This is something that we can cover through our sewer budget.
Okay.
It's important to have the grassy areas, This is where the funds would come from that, or a portion of them.
Did you continue on and then I'll...
No, well, yeah, no one seconded that motion yet, so I just wanted...
So I'm just, you seconded it, I'm just wondering if we have the motion before, that we, and did you want to speak to it?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
this moment.
please.
I think we
And
have
then-
to make two motions,
I
do
do
we
too.
not? One for the BMX track and one for the Kinsman Park, just to ensure
to
that we get the
separate.
work done
Yeah,
on
okay.
Kinsman, okay? And-
Could you read that back so Councillor Rhodes, who made the motion, is...
I think it's as simple as that, unless they want to add to it.
Would you check and see if this is what you want?
That council repurpose the existing dog park to a minor baseball field, and that the BMX track be repurposed to a dog park.
That's okay? And are you seconding that?
Second.
And Councillor Rhodes, you wanted to speak?
Just further to that, I would like to mention that 5 years ago when we started off repurposing what is now the existing ballpark, that was kind of a fun activity. I was quite involved in it with a number of members in our community. It was something that was positive, well received in our community, and came to us with a great deal of budget sensitivity as well. It was not a big ticket item. And I mention that only because whatever coalition or small group of people that we get together to move forward in the BMX park, that can be a very, very good thing and a positive thing in our community. And, you know, we did make a few mistakes with the BMX or the dog park that we have right now. You know, we've learned from those. We kind of know the kind of things that we want. And we got a fresh slate. We can move forward with it and really, you know, do something that's very positive in our community. And finally, I would like to mention that I believe that we have some existing budget money already that's been allocated to the budget park. So we do have some to the
Dog park?
from the budget to the dog park right now that I'm sure would be a very, very easy thing to repurpose that in developing the new BMX park,
Good.
dog park at the BMX track.
I do recall us putting some money into that for last year. Councillor Youngberg and Councillor King.
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. Just to straighten for the record that there was a mention of Desert Park Exhibition Society being concerned about the use of the infield. And just to clarify, Desert Park Exhibition Society, as far as I'm aware, under the lease agreement, doesn't lease any part of the infield. The infield is under the direction of Community Services. And if they choose to put the ballparks there, that's what will be done. Just to clarify.
Thank you. Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess the focus has been on the West Bench. What impact is going to happen at Kinsman Park? Are we going to move forward with a bit of fencing there, or just and have two parks all of a sudden?
I'd like to make that motion.
That will be a second motion.
Okay.
Let's deal with this one first.
I just didn't want to lose it.
Yeah.
So we're going to, it's been moved and seconded, the motion to, that Councillor Rhodes has put forward, and it's been read, so let's take a vote on this. All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. Now, is there a second motion needed about Kinsman? Councillor King, did you, or Councillor Youngberg, go ahead.
Yeah, just like to make a motion that we install fencing at the Kinsman Park so that we have a second off-leash dog park.
I think it's more than fencing. There's a couple of other things that need to be added there.
Okay.
Can we look at the costs of that as well?
Yeah, my sense is when we were out there, there isn't much more than we need to make that into a viable dog park besides running a fence right across to protect the play area. And again, the additional amenities may be added to the area that will make it more, because there is shade there with trees already, and we may have to put something else up. But I think that's something that we would explore long term.
Okay, good.
And could be a part of the responsibilities of that committee.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to just amend the motion then to install the fencing and other amenities? Do you want me to include that?
I'll second.
I think a motion that addresses that the Kinsman Park be turned into a dog park, and with cross fencing and other amenities as identified.
So it's been moved and seconded. Councillor Rhodes, you wanted to speak first?
Just for clarity, does that mean that we're moving ahead if the resolution's passed? I'd kind of like to have a look at some costs and,
Yeah,
get a report.
yeah. These are all going to go into the budget. These are budget directions. So again, we're
It
not.
sounded to me like the motion said move forward with it.
Yeah, if council wants to take, we'll tender the work, and council can have a look at what the tender costs are. Again, we don't have budget money for this year. It has to go through the 2018 budgeting process for Kinsman.
So it doesn't sound like there would be too much cost to that other than the fence to start off.
With. Yeah, to start with.
Yeah,
Is that-
personally, I would speak against that particular motion, not based on the reality of it, but I would like to see a report first and debate the report that would have costs in it rather than...
That report will be to you at the November meeting.
Yeah. A question?
So are you suggesting that we not vote on that we not bring that part of it up until we get the cost? Councillor King?
Well, I read in the report, it says $20 a linear foot, so if it's 100 feet...
We already know, basically.
We already know.
It's 170 feet?
Pardon?
It's 170 feet, so it's like $3,400
Yeah.
just
So
for the
we do know
fence?
the cost of that fence for kids.
So
That's the information I got from the report.
So $3,400 in order to turn it into a for a
just-
fence?
That's just the purchase, the fencing, not the installation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you estimated, I think it would be something in around,
Yeah.
what did you say here, 10?
5.
5,000.
I don't know if it's actually in there, but it is around 5,000. Yeah.
Are you okay with that amount, or would you prefer
Oh,
to,
that was the shell, yeah.
who made the motion?
Yeah, I did.
So you would like, and to put in the fencing and start, okay, so you made the motion, you seconded it,
Yep.
and you've spoken, you need to think about this.
Can I
Did you
offer
want-
a suggestion?
Yes.
Can I potentially have the motion that the Kinsman Park development in a dog park be put into the 2018 budgeting and then the report will come to council as part of a total budget package, and then council can take a look at
both scenarios.
at all the scenarios within the budgeting package.
Are you all right
guess
with that,
we were just- Yes, I'm
Councillor
fine.
Younger?
Yeah, that's
We were
Okay.
assuming it was going to be the 2018 because
Yeah.
we're already 20
Yeah.
finished. Yeah.
Go ahead, Councillor Rhodes.
So often in our community, it's not always about budget. There's also a perception that we're moving forward because everybody wants it. As we all know, there's been pushback about Kinsman Park already, and I would like an opportunity to evaluate that and have a better look at it before we move forward. That's why I would speak against the motion.
Okay. So we're going to, could you please read the motion again before we vote on it?
How do you bring that up? Text to-
Is that guy at the front recording this?
Yep.
Okay, the motion's ready. That council directs staff to bring a report to council to turn a portion of Kinsman Park into an off-leash dog park in the 2018 budget process.
Is that all right? Okay. Is that agreeable?
Yep.
Mover and the seconder? Good, thank you. All in favor? Up against? Thank you. That was carried.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone, for dealing with that big issue. So next on our list is the general net payroll and Sun Bowl Arena financial accounts. I'll just wait for Councillor Campbell to come back. Yep.
Got anything else, sir?
Taped it whole thing.
I think there should be big signs on the wall, no recording use.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I thought
It is what it is.
some guy sitting in front
It's
had
on
some
gratitude.
kind of recording and taped it.
Yeah,
Not
what's that?
allowed, but I didn't notice.
He spoke,
Yes.
he spoke initially.
I don't know. Must be Frank.
Yeah, Brianne should have it on the last meeting. He spoke at the last meeting, October 2nd meeting. Whenever we had the public meeting on the dogs, he was one of the speakers.
Years ago, you mean?
No,
We
no,
didn't
no,
have-
just
oh,
like whenever we just had it, was it?
we didn't have a
October
public meeting about the
Doesn't
dog
look
park.
familiar to me.
Aren't we still?
Yeah.
2nd? Sorry.
Okay. We'll carry on with the general net payroll. So general Sun Bowl Arena cash requirements and net payroll accounts to October 16th. General cash requirements of $394,123.25 and Sun Bowl cash requirements of $13,040.35, and that will be done by consensus, and net payroll accounts of $84,733.81 for information. We're okay with that. Next is the building permits, and what we see for this month is $518,000, a single-family residence, plus some other minor things that people are doing, existing decks and alterations and fire damaged. So year to date, $10,286,291. Well, that's pretty good. That's double from last year. Do we need to make a motion to accept that? Thank you very much. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Campbell, all in favor. Thank you. And next is the bylaw enforcement report. And when I looked at this, it seemed to me that the number of files and the hours spent were very similar to September of 2016. The only thing that I noticed was on the second page, the parks enforcement, that this year there was 8 files on skateboarding, and it doesn't appear that there are any from last year. So I'm not sure, because I do recall when we first put in the benches and things last year that there were some skateboarding people down there, but I guess they're back. So is there anybody that wanted to comment on that, or, yeah, Councillor Rhodes.
Ditto my last comments on the smoking and the number of hours that our bylaw people spend on it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I kind of wish we could do something in our community so that those numbers were zero. But to be spending 20 hours and 29 hours last year and 31, I don't know, it's just an absolute ridiculous thing. Not passing judgment on anybody that smokes. It's a personal choice. I know I'm repeating myself again. But with all things in our community, respect of other people is mandatory of all citizens, and why our bylaw people got to spend such an extraordinary large amount of hours on smoking enforcement in our community is just mind-boggling to me.
Can I speak to that?
Not
Thank you.
that I'm
Yeah.
anti-smoking or
are you,
anything, but-
you're not pointing at anybody? Okay.
No.
So,
Councillor Campbell.
right now, for the smoking bylaws in like Gyro Beach, for example, it states, I guess I'm asking the question, it states no smoking in our park and beaches. Does it state any repercussions with fines or anything?
There are fines for smoking.
And that's posted clearly in those areas?
Well, it's no smoking, and then we'd have, on the bottom, we just have our parks bylaw number. To put everything on a sign is impossible. So, but any breach of the bylaw, there's, in our MTI bylaw, we've got a fine for smoking. And
You see in a lot of places now just the monetary information put forth. So when it states no smoking, it could, if the fine's $500, it would say $500 fine. I'm wondering if that maybe becomes more of a deterrent. I don't know.
Yeah. It's something we can take a look at. Again, redoing our signage is tough, and well, it's expensive, is what it is. But the bottom line in when it says no smoking and it's bylaw enforced, people should. Part of the issue is that even issuing fines, people don't want to pay them, and they end up going to a collection agency because that's the only option that we have.
Okay.
Especially if they're non-resident.
And there's dogs too, so that's another one that's up, on there on the fine. Okay, are we okay, Mrs. Hilson? We're good. Okay. You need to vote on that. We need to vote on that. Okay. Could we have a motion? Thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Rhodes, all in favor. Thank you. And now we will go back to committee reports. I don't think we have any. Our CAO report.
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. Just a few of the things the administration has been active in the last couple of weeks. Starting in community services, plans are underway for the Halloween Howl. Thanks to the Soyuz Elks for continued sponsorship. Upcoming workshops include Go Green, Go Clean, make and take workshop using essential oils for making cleaning products, pickleball workshops, snowshoeing trek, and more of the information can be found on our website. Desert Park renovations are continuing. The grandstands are painted. Staff applied for an age-friendly grant through UBCM to offset the cost of developing a plan to enable us to become a designated community and to make a grant application. In terms of corporate services, continuing to update the records management system. The bylaw officer is having issues with people in the parks with alcohol. She's dealing with them when she can. She also has issues sleeping in a gyro washroom, which will be resolved with the washroom locked after October 15th. In terms of finance, they're working on the 2018 budget proposals. Public Works has installed the Canada 150 tree in Gyro Park. I haven't seen it yet. And then they'll be getting the electricity trench to it shortly. Mowing in all the parks in Desert Park infield continues. Various irrigation system repairs and shutdowns throughout the parks. And they're preparing for the cell number 3 cleaning in November. In terms of myself, we had a director's budget meeting last week, which was held to discuss council-directed priorities and mix them with our priorities, which will come back to council in November. Completed advertising for the planning director's position, reviewing the marina aerator options, reviewed dog park options, arranging consultant cover-off for planning files, and also providing information that we received the rural diversification funding for the downtown revitalization project. That $10,000 grant will go along with the $50,000, and we hope to get that going probably, well, we thought we'd get it done here and start it up in November, but we're still working towards that. And also that we received a $100,000 grant to assist with the development of the Osoyoos Community Health Care Feasibility Study. So the next step in that will be to develop a request for proposal for consultant assistance. So
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Glad to hear that we've got those 2 grants. That's good. And now we need to. What are we doing? The CEO report be received? Thank you. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Youngberg, all in favor. Thank you. And now council reports, and first is Councillor Rhodes.
Is it?
Yes, it's you.
Oh, I'm going to take a pass.
Oh, well, I've got Youngberg on here, but Rhodes in here. So I'm not sure. Sorry. It's a different, which one?
You go whichever order and I'll adjust.
You can just slip right by me.
Oh, okay, so you're taking a pass? Thank
Sure.
you. Isn't that interesting? On here it said, okay, so now Councillor Youngberg.
All righty. Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. I'd just like to read a report from the Okanagan Regional Library, which is our local library. The library is located right next door to the elementary school, and the elementary school enrollment is up extensively, therefore the traffic through the library is growing, and is such a great meeting place for the young students. Parents waiting for their children visit and read the paper, take out new books, DVDs, or just read a magazine. Some new implementations that George is proud of is the monthly healthy living programs, which run from October until May. They're all well attended. There's a Lego club and our new preschool, which opened on the 18th of September in the Sonora Center, which is the same building as the library. All of the new students attend story time and community for kids, a little library, and they also have created in 2 parks in Osuyas little libraries. They're little boxes that contain books where people can exchange the books to read. And they've also created Library at Your Door. Volunteers deliver books to the retirement centers. And the Summer Reading Club was up 58% in 2016 and is up again in 2017. Weekly class visits. There are 4 classes per week approximately that attend the library. Teachers order books for that visit and on subjects that they are currently teaching. Research being done by volunteers on several subjects such as healthcare, the wine history for local seminars, and local teaching in the applicable industries. Preschool opened in the building September 18th, and the teachers use the library for their books, tutorials online, and little children get the exposure to the library. Many homeschoolers use the library as their resource center. The child care center is on the same property. They make many visits to the library. Books are ordered as well for their daily programs. Library is in an excellent location, highly visible to our residents and visitors, and is in the local community center. The local community center hosts many activities as well as the recreation program, and they're all well attended. Donations of gifts from PharmaSafe, Shoppers Drug Mart are actively pursued by Georgia for reading programs, as well as Dairy Queen coupons are circulated certain times for inspirations. So if anybody in the community would like to assist with the library, I'm sure Georgia will be really receptive, and I think she's doing a wonderful job, and in turn of that report, they renewed their lease, so we're all in good shape.
Good. Thank you very much. I don't know who wants to go next.
I'll go.
Councillor Campbell.
Thank you, Mayor McKortoff. This past week on Wednesday, I had been invited to be part of a discussion and a focus session in Vancouver set up by the new Ministry of Mental Health and Addictions, Judy Darcy. It was a full-day forum at the Simon Fraser University, and it was the representation there wasn't a lot as far as politicians go. There was a lot of healthcare organizations, healthcare advocacy groups, healthcare professionals, and the meeting was set up with a few different tables around a room, and almost like a speed meeting concept, where each table had a concept, and there was a facilitator at each table to take notes on the discussions that were happening at the table. We were encouraged to speak freely and openly about our feelings and concerns, both on access to mental health resources as well as addictions and the fentanyl crisis. I was really, really impressed, one, that this meeting took place. You know, we've got a new government and a brand new ministry set up that's never existed before. And shortly after they found the light switches in their offices, and being bombarded at UBCM by representatives from a ton of municipalities wanting to speak to that new ministry, that they put this together in such a short period of time. The messaging I take from it is that yes, that they want to look at long-term planning with this new department, but more importantly, they want to really go after some of the, if I could say, low-hanging fruit, but to have an immediate impact in those two areas of addiction and access to mental health and resources. So it was a substantive discussion. I thought it was meaningful, and I look forward to seeing the results from this forum, and I'll report those back to Council once the facilitators put the notes together. Essentially, the Minister opened up the meeting. The discussions took place over roughly 7 hours, and then the summaries were presented back to the Minister toward the end of the meeting. So it was a really neat way the forum was set up, and certainly some really interesting discussions and different viewpoints on the best way forward. But I'm thankful to have been invited, and I hope I can stay involved as the process continues.
Good. Well, we think you're the right person to be there, too. Did they suggest that there might be meetings every 6 months, or is this a one-off, or do you know that yet?
It's not a one-off. They'll take the summary notes from this particular one, and I think they were still discussing whether they wanted to look at more equal representation. And one of the things that came up toward the end of the forum was whether the people in the room outside of their professions, but if they were representative of BC, and talking about different cultures and First Nations and things like that, they were called out by a couple of people that attended, stating that there might not have been, we might not have been representative of all of BC, and I think the Minister took that to heart and took that seriously. So it might be a different group, it might be a more varied group of people. I'm not sure.
Good. Well, I think it's a good it's a good move. Councillor.
Yeah, just one short comment about that. On the Child and Youth Development Committee that I sit on, there's 21 different directorships, and of course the representation of the Ministry of Health is always there. But it might be a real good idea if Councillor Campo takes my position on that committee, because they only meet twice a year, but it seems to be the same people that he's just met with in Vancouver. So. The different ministries and departments.
I believe we decide it's about the beginning of December that we go through the list of who's on what committee.
Just a suggestion,
absolutely,
because it just
we could
seems
sort of look at it then.
That he would be very much more instrumental there than I.
Okay.
I'd be open
All
to
right.
that.
Let's have a look at that then. Thank you, Councillor King.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I had the pleasure actually of attending the RCMP Regiment Gala. It was a sold-out event. To see so many in red surge in one event was just spectacular. There was definitely a lot of pictures taken. There was retired RCMP, retired other RCMP, all the way from Kelowna down to Osoyoos. It wasn't just Osoyoos, and the fundraiser was for the South Okanagan Hospice Society. So I believe it was a well-attended event, and hopefully they raised lots of funds.
Good. Well, thank you very much for attending and speaking on our behalf. He didn't have to do that.
I'm at one end, the wife said the opposite. That was good.
Thank you. Okay, from the big thing that I'm working on right now is the International Joint Commission for Lake Osoyoos Border Control. Meeting is tomorrow afternoon. The screening of the film is tomorrow night. Plus, there will be reports from various people. Anybody who's interested in finding out more about what the group does and you know, the concerns about the lake levels, the flooding, all of that would be a good meeting to come out to and ask questions. So 6 till 8:15 tomorrow night at the Sonora. Next week, I am representing the International Board of Control, so East Lake Board of Control, at a semi-annual meeting in Ottawa. And we're going to be looking at the reports, and I'll be attending those meetings from all the transboundary waterways across the United States and Canada border. So they all meet twice a year. Once is in Ottawa and once in Washington, D.C. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to attend this one, and I will certainly bring back a report From that, since I'm the only one attending from this, as a director from this group, I assume that I will be speaking as well at the meeting. So I'm looking forward to that next week. So I think that's all that we have for today, and it wasn't quite as long a meeting as we had anticipated. So thank you very much, everyone. I need a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Councillor King, Councillor Campbell. All in favor? Thank you very much.